Regulator centered?
I would say adult-centered.
Adult centered.
Adult-centered, yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, and not to say that our teachers and educators right now are not doing what they need to do in order to educate our students, because they work very, very hard to educate our students. But again, sometimes, you know, the rules and regulations of the system sometimes, you know, bump up against what may be in the best interest of children. And so what we want to do is refocus that attention from what the rules and regulations might say to a focus on, you know, what is in the best interest of children and best interest of students in particular.
Seems like you're really engaging the family in this. Is there a main reason? Because we've heard so much over the years about, well, you take discipline out of the classroom, if the kids don't have anybody that disciplines at home or cares at home to help with homework, they just fall further and further behind. Is that the key component?
Well, yeah, I guess I would phrase it a different way in saying that we all know from the research that, you know, families and the parents in particular are the first educator in the lives of our children, and they are the most important influence and predictor of academic success. And so not involving them in the education process, we're already behind if we don't do that. And so our efforts are, again, to bring families more into the educational process with our students, but again, also the communities as well, because a lot of times if the parents aren't able to do that, sometimes the community, through mentors and through other adults like counselors, they can provide that additional support to help students figure out, you know, this thing called life that that they go through, and especially for those who are at the middle school level. I've got a middle school daughter myself, and, you know, there are a lot of challenges that middle school students go through that, you know, having an adult to talk to sometimes can help them get through it in a positive way. I'm not sure who is next. I'm sorry.
Well, you said that the top performing systems, Finnish, Japanese, have fairly narrow, defined, or manageable goals, maybe a way to look at it. The reform plan is really pretty effusive as far as core subjects, art, music, team building, leadership. We can do it all. I mean, why do you think that we can succeed in all those things when you're saying the top performing systems that have more defined goals?
Well, I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. When I spoke about that in other countries, I was speaking specifically about the standards and the model curriculum that we use to educate our students. And so when we talk about making sure that we have art, making sure that we have music, and making sure that we have a well-rounded education for our students, I think that's a different area that in order to make sure that our students are fully developed, that they have the cognitive and the affective development that they need to be successful, you have to have a well-rounded education for them. But when we look at the core subjects, math, science, social studies, we can design our curricula and our standards so that they are narrow and they go very deep. And the way that you do that is, again, through this concept of vertical articulation. In essence, you start in kindergarten with the core foundation subjects and topics, and then as they progress through elementary school, you add additional concepts as they progress. And so there, you know, again, it's being done in other countries, and it's proven to be successful in other countries. And so, you know, again, that narrow and deep concentration is really more focused on the core subjects and again, those content standards, academic standards, and the model curriculum. Yes?
How did you go about banning corporal punishment? I thought there was a bill in the legislature on that. It didn't go anywhere.
Well, in our proposal, we're introducing language that would ban corporal punishment across the state of Ohio for the school buildings that I identified in the presentation. So you just changed the law.
Part of the language for the reform plan or the budget is actually in the budget? Or?
Yeah, all of our reform plan is in the budget. And so when we submitted the budget, we submitted the education reform plan, legislative language along with the rest of the budget. This